Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Worldwide Review Series for August 7th, 1993. We've got a few more in 93 left, and then we're going to go back to 1991 and maybe some 1990 stuff. But enhancement talent match for British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith here. Interesting match because his opponent is Rip Rogers. Rip Rogers, of course, the main trainer for the Ohio Valley Developmental System for several years, probably close to 20 years, probably. Anyway, power moves by the Bulldog here and shrugs him off. Of course, Bulldog still managing to kind of rummage towards going into the WCW War Games event in September. That's kind of what we're moving towards here at this point. Shoulder tackle by the Bulldog, and he manages to stay pretty on course with whatever offense he wants to set forward by any stretch of the imagination. Press slam into the from the outside of the ring back into the ring here. Not exactly a good place to be for him, but manages to do what he can. Big power slam by the Bulldog, and 1-2-3 is where things lead for the British Bulldog in that little while there after the power slam. And then we move to the Nasty Boys, promising to nasty size and dominate all of WCW. And so that the tag team division is theirs to control, basically. Eric Watts and Frankie Lancaster. So Watts has been reduced here in summer '93 to enhancement talent work alongside or facing off against the Hollywood Blondes, Austin and Pillman. Obviously, that is a far cry from where he was a year before. But, when your dad's not in charge, Eric Watts has some difficulties, to say the very least. Anyway, Watts tries to get in there and get at Pillman. Pillman mocking Eric Watts and not the least bit impressed. Horsemen say they want the tag team championships to stay with them and to come home where they belong. That is the foray of this particular period of time. Horsemen are Roma and Anderson, and obviously Ric Flair, but the tag team version is Anderson and Roma, which, I don't know, I mean, it doesn't exactly go quite according to plan the way they intended, but the Pillman and Austin versus Roma and Anderson run is pretty intense for a while. And of course, the Horseman experience for Paul Roma doesn't really quite work out the way that he intends anyway. So Irish whips into the corner, and Steve Austin certainly by far is bounced around and bouncing around for his adversaries here. He tries to slow things down a good bit and does so for a minute. Drop toe holds along the way, and not the least bit intimidated by any stretch of the imagination. Austin then manages to go off, get in with Brian Pillman, and things go in a positive direction there, to say the very least. And so Pillman manages to take his opponent, which in this case happens to be Watts, over to the corner. Double team maneuvers and really basic stuff here. Back elbow. And honestly, I think for former tag team champions or for current tag team champions, either one really, a match of this magnitude on a B-level show should not exist from the standpoint of the competition for the tag team championships on either side. Champion or challengers looks weak. An attempted Oklahoma roll leads both men to go to the arena floor. Sunset flip attempted by Austin, and Watts sits down with it. Doesn't get nearly all that he wants from it, but hard shots nonetheless. it's there to say the least, and Pillman is not willing to take a backward step under any circumstances in that way. Um, kind of seeing a good bit of. Then there's a tag off, as it were, and Irish whip by the babyface in Lancaster, who manages to hit a couple of backdrops and a couple of clotheslines, making a competitive match where there normally wouldn't be one. Heart attack, spinebuster type combination win for the Hollywood Blondes, though. Flair comes out with a flair for the gold, which we have covered on a previous edition of WCW Saturday Night, so there's no real need to do that here. Ricky Steamboat and Flair talk at length about their history. Steamboat talks about going back to singles, not having dependability with a partner now. I believe, if not right at this time, very soon thereafter, Shane Douglas has left to eventually show up in ECW within a couple of weeks to a couple of months. But certainly he's there by the fall of 1993, and that is probably the best move for his career in a lot of ways. The Equalizer, a.k.a. Dave Sullivan, in an enhancement match to follow. Of course, he doesn't have the Dave Sullivan name yet, and that probably wasn't the best for his career either. Punch, kick, choke, and basic stuff here. Nothing worth losing sleep over there. He gets a victory after sending his opponent into the buckle, kicking away at his arm and shoulder, and then full Nelson City is where we go. Basic things there, and a inversion of anything that's too terribly good there. Anyway, Rick Rude and Sullivan talk about, or the Equalizer, talk about wanting to eradicate Dustin Rhodes from the area. Johnny B. Bad in a gold and purple mask and boa ensemble with gear is here. He is still wearing the mask, which I seem to recall ended before now, but that is not the case. Anyway, Bad does some ducking and dodging, still bouncing around as though he's a boxer. Of course, he has the Golden Glove boxer mentality and history. Boxer in New York was Mero, and kind of go switch behind. Real basic stuff here. Takes him down, and away they go in that area. Ultimately, we see, the enhancement talent catch a couple of punches to the midsection, staying toe-to-toe with Bad for a couple of minutes, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing if you're trying to get over that he's a boxer, especially in the years that follow, and he's done boxing versus wrestling matches with guys like Scotty Flamingo, and eventually does one with Arn Anderson about a year and a half later here. He hops to the outside, goes to the top rope, and hits the top rope sunset flip for a reasonable victory here. Bad promises to eventually be able to take the mask off and is happy at the idea of winning that opportunity. Vader and Harley Race highlighted. They are trying to push more of the upcoming Fall Brawl nature of things. Fall Brawl, I think, was originally a Clash of the Champions in 90 or 91 and becomes a pay-per-view here in 93 and through the end of the company. Vader manhandling a enhancement talent, not a big surprise to anybody who has eyes, but manages to do that here. Shoulder tackle on the guy doesn't do very much, obviously. Vader not going to move terribly far for a shoulder tackle. Hard shots by Vader and continuation of some pretty aggressive stuff. Vader with a choke slam and a power bomb, and off we go. Continuation of the promises to eliminate both Cactus Jack and the British Bulldog, and Sting and anybody else by Vader. Fear no man, feel no pain, and away we go. This will close this episode. We'll be back with more right after this.